welcome to Chairman of the Board. Today I'm going to give my thoughts on Stone Age, which is a worker placement game. I've heard a lot of things about Stone Age over the years, but I never actually had, I never really seeked to play it because I'd heard it was kind of like a perfect gateway game, especially into worker placement, but I always owned Lords of Waterdeep, so I never really saw the need for me to play it because I thought Lords of Waterdeep kind of fit that niche. But I had an opportunity to play it this week, and I have to say, this game is the perfect gateway game. I don't think I've ever played a game that's more suitable for introducing new players to a hobby as well as Stone Age does. And that's because not only does it teach you, the basics of worker placement, but it also actually introduces players to thinking about the strategy they're going to take, because there are multiple ways and viable ways to win the game and to, gain points. And I was really, really impressed with how Stone Age did that. But not only does it teach you how to, the worker placement aspect of things, the different strategies players can take, but it also, it teaches you the benefits of dice mitigation with the use of those tools. It gives you the choice to make, am I going to sacrifice a couple of workers this turn in order to get back another worker next turn by using that little love shack? And that's a really cool little touch, by the way. And also this game introduces dice into gathering resources, which normally I wouldn't be, too satisfied with, because I like to be able to account with precision about what I'm going to get each turn. But for a game like this, I think it works incredibly well, because you can basically send more than one of your workers to a certain location, for example, to the woods to get more wood, or the forest, I should say, to get more wood, or up to the mountains to get more stone, or to like the quarry to get clay, or to the river to try and find gold. But basically all those locations are kind of associated with like a modifier. So if you go to the woods and you roll, say you sent 2 workers there and you rolled 2 dice and you got a 7, you divide that 7 by 3, I think, for wood, so you get 2 bits of wood. I think it's like by 4 for clay, maybe 5 for stone, and then 6 for gold. I've probably got that wrong, but you get the idea. And it works really, really well because you can't really, perfectly plan what you're going to do, but you can get a good idea. And you can use the tools, which is another space, to try and boost or you can use them to boost your rolls to get more, to get more from your workers. And not only does that work thematically, because obviously, the better tools, the more you're going to get back. And so it works thematically, but it also works decision-wise, because am I going to take my workers to those, to that tool hut to get more tools to help me down the line, more long term, or am I going to, just risk it every turn and do more things with my goes? So I really like the little decisions you have to make in this game, and none of them are overwhelming. There's no real potential for analysis paralysis, at least I didn't think so either. And if you play this game with players who aren't new to the hobby, then this game goes super, super quickly, because, as I said, those choices aren't too overwhelming, so you're pretty much going to know what you want to do each turn. I love the fact that you are burdened with the fact that you have to feed your workers at the end of every turn, but again, there are ways to mitigate that. Because there's one spot on the board where you can send one of your workers, and that permanently adds 1 food to your supply, so that's 1 worker you don't have to feed each turn. And that seems to work really well, because not only does it help you, you don't have to go hunting for food as often, but you also can link that to a strategy, because there are certain buildings you can build, which, not buildings, cards you can buy, which times a modifier with the amount of food you get in order to get points at the end of the game. It's kind of hard to explain, but say I had, say I was 4 on the track, of this food track, and I had this card that gives me, it might give me 2 points per every stage on the chart I'm at. So I'd be getting 8 points, but then I can get another one of those cards, and then I might get 16 points, and you can go down that road But that's one road you can go down. If someone's kind of dominating that side of things, you can go on multipliers based on the amount of buildings you have or the amount of tools you have. And there's also a bit of set collection here as well, because that's another route you can go down by collecting all these different unique items in order to get certain multipliers on this track. You know, if you get one item, you might only get 1 point. 2 items, you get 3 points. Then 3 items, you might get 10 points. So the incentive gets better and better and better. And I just really like that. I also really like games that have a kind of sliding card row as things get cheaper as people buy things. And Stone Age also introduces that. So are you going to pay more to get the card you really want, and hope no one goes there, or hope it gets cheaper and cheaper so you don't have to pay as much? But obviously the incentive for other players to buy it gets more and more. So there's a lot to think about in this game, but it just introduces it in a perfect way. There's definitely no, overload of information here. And as I said, I think this is pretty much the best gateway game I've ever played. As a gamer and with my gamer friends, I wouldn't, ask to play this or seek to play this, at least not regularly, because my personal tastes are a little bit beyond this now. But if I played this with a regular, maybe gaming group where new players are constantly coming through, then this is brilliant to introduce them to. I think it's going to really broaden new players' perspective on what board games can actually achieve, and what how far they've come over the years. So yeah, I was very, very impressed with this game. The production is really good quality. I will say the box seems a bit oversized for what's actually in the box, but a lot of games do that. But also just the graphic design of the board is so clean and so easy to understand where everything is, what everything does, and everything thematically works really well. So yeah, as I said, if you're looking for a gateway game and you like worker placement games, then this game is wonderful. Really, really nice experience, very breezy. No nastiness, there's no real, in fact there's no take that at all, just the standard worker placement of beating people to certain spots. Yeah, I really recommend you check this out, especially if you're new into the hobby and you're interested in worker placement mechanics. Then I would actually recommend this one more than Lords of Waterdeep, which is actually a game I prefer to this, but again, I think it just throws more at you and lets you think more strategically, whereas in Lords of Waterdeep you kind of are more reacting. It's more tactical and a bit more aggression, as you can kind of, you can basically, it's got a bit more take that in it, and you can kind of mess the other players around a bit more. And I think that maybe the theme is a bit more approachable with this as well, because Dungeons and Dragons doesn't really have a great, a great appeal to casual gamers, whereas this is more kind of approachable. So yeah, overall, very impressed with this game. I can certainly understand why it gets so much credit for being a great gateway game, because it definitely is. I honestly can't fault it looking through the eyes of a new gamer. And, I have to do that in order to review it fairly. So yeah, a brilliant game, and one I certainly recommend, especially for new players. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit like and subscribe if you have. And check out my other reviews as well. For everyone else, I'll see you next time on Chairman of the Board. Bye.